Dime que lo que, mi gente. Welcome back to the MoneyMoves Investments channel. In this video, we're gonna go over the MoneyMoves SENSEI ICHIMOKU algorithm. I'm gonna explain the algo and the changes and why I made the changes and stuff like that. The Ichimoku cloud strategy is a free indicator on YouTube, but a lot of people don't understand how to use it. A lot of people are taught to just take the cross when the cloud is green and take the cross when the cloud is red. You have gurus out there exploiting it and making it sound like it's an easy strategy when there's a whole history behind it, the calculations, specific reasons why all those lines are there. So what I try to do is not exactly reinvent the wheel, but make it easier for you to drive. So yeah, in this video, we're gonna go over the MoneyMoves SENSEI ICHIMOKU and try my best to explain to you the Ichimoku strategy and the changes I made to it and why. A lot of people love this indicator, but there are definitely ways where it can be optimized in terms of learning where to take profit, proper exit, proper entry, having confirmation, using it even on lower time frames when it's really meant, still it's really meant for higher time frame swing trading, learning the average, etc., etc. I don't want to keep boring you with it, so let's get on to the video. Just do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe on this video if you find this video helpful. Drop some ideas, whatever you guys want me to make and see, I'll do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here for the people, so háblame bien. Let's get to the charts. All right, guys. So this is my partner Hendrix. A lot of you that have been around know who he is. He helps me create all of these algos and indicators and stuff like that. So we're gonna go over first, before we introduce the sensei, we're gonna go over what the original Ichimoku cloud is, right? You have new traders that don't know what indicators are. You have traders that have seen the Ichimoku or were taught to use the Ichimoku in the wrong way. And I actually learned how to use the Ichimoku properly through Hendrix. So Hendrix is just going to go over what the Ichimoku is, the basics, and how to properly use it. And then we're going to go into the sensei right after. All right. So go ahead, bro.
Now, me and Dalian have worked together and collaborated and made some changes to it, or just some additions to this indicator. We called it the SENSEI ICHIMOKU. But just to give you a little in-depth of what the original indicator was. It was made by a guy called Hosoda. And for about 7 to 12 years, I'm not exactly sure, but he worked on only one line of the Ichimoku, and that's called the Tenkan-sen. That's the one that you would find as the conversion line, right? It's a 9-period line between the high and the low of the previous 9 candles, divided by 2. Then you'll find that middle line. So the conversion line was made to represent 9 trading days. They had 9 trading days back then. So the conversion line, or the Tenkan-sen, is the 9-period of the high and the low divided by 2. Then you would find the conversion. And they were trading with only this one line very successfully in Japan. So right after that, they started expanding it, because now they had the 9-period, and then they started expanding it to the 26-period. Now that's where more advanced concepts of the Ichimoku is going to come into play. It's called time theory. The numbers of Ichimoku is very important. 9, 26, and then the bigger number. It's very, very important. So the Kijun-sen is the 26th period of the high, the low, divided by 2. Then you get the Kijun-sen. Which is also interesting is these lines is exactly the same as the middle line of the Danshin. The upper Danshin line of the 20 period, the lower Danshin line of the 20 period, divided by 2, then you get the center line. The most powerful part of the Ichimoku is, by all means, the cloud, which everybody knows, right? So when price is above the cloud, you would notice it's making a strong uptrend. When price is below the cloud, you would notice it's making a strong downtrend. When you get in the middle of the cloud, you don't trade, because what Ichimoku means is seeing clearly. It has this vision of you're on a mountain and you are seeing the cloud. If you are seeing above the cloud, you know that you can trade. When you are in the cloud, you don't know what to do, because the market is in this little confusion place. When it's below the cloud, you know that, hey, the market wants to go down. Now, the last line is called the lagging span, right? Or the Chiku span, right? And it is just the closing price shifted back 26 periods. And what that represents, if I turn off everything, this is actually a very important one. If I turn off everything but the lagging span, notice how it shows you you're in a ranging market. So that's Ichimoku's little range detector, right? If I put this on right here, notice how the market is ranging. If I replay this, the price is in that little section right there. You can know that it's ranging. The moment that the Chico span breaks out from that little range, you are headed up. So there's a lot of entry signals in the Ichimoku cloud. Don't just focus on the cloud itself. When you trade the Ichimoku, there's a lot of signals. You can trade the direction of the Tenkan-sen. You can trade the breakout of the Tenkan-sen. You can trade everything that you trade with the Tenkan-sen. You can trade with the Kijun-sen. You can trade the direction of the Kijun-sen. You do not always need to focus on the cloud, but that is just giving you general direction. Now in the future, we are going to go into much more detail about things like time theory, price theory. These are all theories that Osoda left the world with in his books, but those are not being taught the general way. The general way is always, if price is above the cloud, you trade above the cloud. If price is below the cloud, you trade below the cloud. When you remove the cloud, there is so much gold in the Ichimoku that you would not just understand. If you remove the cloud completely from your picture, do this sometime. Trade the direction of the Kijun-sen or the direction of the Tenkan-sen. When they change direction, try trading that way. You will notice that you get a lot more entries. Here's an example. Let's remove everything and just trade the direction. This is the Ichimoku's scalping signal, the Tenkan-sen, right? So look at here. Look at this. The moment the Tenkan-sen changed direction, price is moving up, right? But this is very fast and this is very choppy. If you trade only the Tenkan-sen alone, you might get a little whipsaw. Checking the Kijun-sen, the one that's called baseline. The moment that one changed, the general you get a more general direction change. When that thing changed, it's like a more general trend is beginning to flip. Then you have, like I said, the lagging span, which is just the closing price shifted 26 periods back. And what you have then is the powerful cloud, which is giving you a sense of the market. You should be using the cloud just to get a sense of the market. Now, putting it all together, remember, Ichimoku means one look, one glance. When you look at the Ichimoku, you should know what the market means, what the market wants to do. And when you start putting the cloud and the Chiku span on, you know that, hey, we might be getting into a range here. When you put on the baseline, all right, the general price is still wanting to move up. It's still going up. And when you start putting them all together, you notice, hey, the market might want to turn around here. Bam! It's starting to break through the cloud, and the market goes down. So the Ichimoku is very powerful. Stick to it, and watch the Sensei Ichimoku. There's some powerful stuff coming when time theory and price theory is really beginning to come into play.
All right, guys. So hopefully I give you a better understanding of the Ichimoku in general, right? So I'm gonna share my screen, and this is the Sensei Ichimoku currently. Let's put it on a prettier chart. There we go. So there are a few things that we added, right? Because for those that see the Ichimoku, it can be a couple things. Intimidating, because there's a lot going on the screen, especially you don't use indicators, especially when you don't trust indicators or can read the lines properly, don't know what a baseline is, barely know what a moving average is, let alone a whole ass cloud, right? So the aim of everything that we do at MoneyMoves Investments is what Hendrix said, is when you look at something like the Ichimoku cloud, you're supposed to know immediately what's going on. And we wanted to make that blatant for you guys, right? So this is the Ichimoku cloud. We changed the color of the cloud a little bit to give it some aesthetic appeal. Now, if you have used the MoneyMoves Dawn, you're familiar with the MoneyMoves moving average, right? And those are the dots that stay close to price. Let's open up the settings. And of course, real quick, you guys know we have the MoneyMoves risk calculator built into all of our algorithms. It's also a free indicator on the MoneyMoves investments TradingView page. And this will calculate your risk for you based on your account size and the ATR. If you haven't seen my ATR video, it's somewhere up here on top of the screen. So what we did is, if I just kind of hide all the moving averages, right? We have the cloud, the Kumo cloud, and then the lagging span is here. And you can also hide the lagging span if you chose to, right? Show Chico right here, right? So we have all these entry signals. And then here at the bottom, we have a multi-time frame cloud, meaning I'm on the daily chart of US 30. And if I wanted to get into a buy position, I can go higher cloud time frame and go 1 week. What does the cloud look like on the 1 week time frame? It's still blue. If I was to go on the 1 week time frame, you would see that it's confirmed. So now you're doing somewhat of a top-down analysis with just the cloud detecting trend itself. So using that, right, we still have the built-in features of the Ichimoku cloud. All right, so you have the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen still in here. Now, what we did is entry signals, right? If you wanted the Tenkan and Kijun cross, which is what most people teach, we give that to you, right? And it still gives you all your entry signals. It gives you your pips, your stop loss, and then combined with the risk calculator, you can use the original Ichimoku cloud strategy to the best of your ability, and it will be a lot clearer to you. What we always do is optimize strategies, right? So as much as we love everything that the Ichi can do it on its own, me and him building indicators for the past couple months have found other ways to optimize things. So we also have the Kumo breakout, which is the breakout of the cloud, which acts like a dynamic support and resistance. Like if it's in the cloud, you do not trade, but once it breaks out, you saw we got that buy signal. When we got that sell signal when it closed out of the cloud, and then we got another buy signal when it broke out, right? And these are all kind of like break and retests, right? Break and retest strategies. Look, sell, closed outside the cloud, and then we hit TP1. And you're just gonna get a lot of that. And it's gonna help with confirmations of not only trend, but intense volatility. So those are the entry signals alone from the cloud itself. So let's get into the MoneyMoves moving average. This is a moving average that me and Hendrix made together. And basically this thing can act as a scalper, and it has its own settings all the way down here. MMA back, you can calculate how fast you want it, either 10, or you can make it smoother. You know, everyone likes 21. You could change it to 21 and it'll become a little smoother for you. This also gives buy and entry signals. So all you have to do is entry signal, MMA, and every time this thing turns red or blue, you take signal. Now, a feature that we're going to show now is a lot of new traders don't know how to trade with the trend, right? So they want to take every signal something gives out. If the Kumo cloud is telling you you're in a direct uptrend and some new traders still don't know what the hell they're doing, we built in a feature called Strict. And what Strict does is basically a Kumo filter. So now all those sell signals disappear and lets you identify maybe a pullback in the trend. And if you haven't seen my market structure video, please watch that. A pullback in a current trend, whether it be down or up, and allows you to re-enter with a proper signal. And this feature works on all the entry signals. So if I was to use the Tenkan and Kijun cross, it'd do the same thing. I turn the Strict on, there you go. The Kumo breakout, a lot of those do the same thing, right? So now we have the Bollinger Band moving average, the BB stop. And it's a moving average is basically measures the volatility of the trend as well, to give you further confirmation of where price may reverse or come back from. And then here we have the base moving averages. So you can choose between simple EMA weighted, volume weighted, double EMA, triple Hull, triple EMA, right? And then you can also select the length of it, whether you want it faster or a little bit slower, such as 21. And then you can make this 13, which is actually a good combination that I found. The source based on the open, high, low. And then when you show the MoneyMoves impulse, this is the type that you're gonna get, right? Nice smooth trend detection. And then if you show the MA cross BB stop signals, that's what you're gonna get. And if you have Strict on, strict off, it's going to show every signal. If you have it on, it's only going to show valid signals that coincide with the trend. Now, another thing that we added was sessions. So if you like trading certain sessions, London, Tokyo, Sydney, New York, whatever, right? You can go into the settings one more time. Sorry, keep coming out of the settings, and you can display them, right? They're all built in automatically. Berlin, London, Sydney, New York, and they're gonna plot in the background for you. Let's reset the chart. Where are we? Right here. Boom. So, you know, it's an array of colors, right? So all you gotta do is to show them one at a time. So Tokyo session will display as orange. Berlin, give you a blue. Turn that off, and you can see how they overlap. London session will display green. Sydney session, it's kind of like a turquoise. And then you have the New York, which will display red. The most popular ones is the London, New York, and then that yellow is the New York, London overlap. Well, I mean, London to New York overlap. Now we just enter London, my apologies. And it will continue so forth, such as. So with the Ichimoku cloud, obviously we optimized it and there's ways to scalp with it, but it's really meant, and correct me if I'm wrong, Hendrix, it's really meant for like 1 hour and above type analysis, right? Because of overall trend detection is based on like daily trend. So what we did is people like using it as a swing trading strategy. So even though we built buy and sell signals that give you TPs based on ATR levels, we also built in pivots, right? So you have 3 sections of pivots you can show, right? So if I want, you can set pivots on whatever time frame. So you can go, I'm on the 1 hour. I want to see the daily pivots. I want to see 2 of them, right? So it's going to display 2 pivots. Here's your 2 resistance, here's the pivot level, and 2 supports. You can choose a type of pivots that you want to see. Fibonacci extended, DMARC, classic. I like using traditional because 1, I'm just not a particular fan of the Fibonacci. I just like straight up support and resistance where price has been. It's not theoretical for me. It's just where price has been. And if you can see here, this is something to also pay attention to. And I don't know if you actually mentioned it. The Kumo cloud can act as support and resistance for you. So you see where this resistance to is also the resistance of the cloud, the top of the cloud. And you can see every time it measures up with the cloud itself. So you can display more, right? If I want to see 4 from the weekly, wrong one. 4 from the day, it will display 2 more of each. But if I also want to see what the weekly pivots look like, it's going to show me my weekly pivots. If I want to see, and again, I can select what time frame, but I can show another set from the monthly traditional, and it's going to show you monthly pivots. So there's so many ways you can use this strategy based on your risk tolerance, your entry, your understanding of market structure, how long you want to hold the trade. There is no other way to make this easier for you. It's just a matter of preference at that point. Reset settings. When you put it on your chart, we hid all the buy and sell signals. It's just a matter of you going in here and turning them on to figure out which strategy out of like the 10 that you want to use. And that's the MoneyMoves Sensei Ichimoku. Me and Hendrix will be collaborating on kind of like a series explaining in depth the Ichimoku, the history, time theory, price theory. Shoot, I'm still learning all of that stuff. Hendrix is the one that actually taught me. So I'm excited to collaborate with you on this. So let us know what you think about the MoneyMoves Sensei Ichimoku in the comments. Drop a like on this video. Hendrix, anything you want to add to it? All right. Appreciate you guys. See you guys later. All right, guys, so that's the MoneyMoves Sensei Ichimoku strategy. If you found this video helpful, just drop a like, consider subscribing, and comment down below what you think of the strategy, what you want to see me do in the future. At the time of this video release, this indicator will be available for free. It will be unlisted on my profile for the moment, and I don't know how long I'm gonna keep it up. I'm gonna allow people to pretty much test it and try it out, compare it to the actual Ichimoku or other Ichimoku strategy you find, and tell me what you think. Nothing to hide over here in terms of what we do. So I don't know how long it's gonna be up, and after a certain period of time, it's going to only be available to my subscribers, like to my members. And if you also just want a free trial, right, to everything I have, my Discord, with all my signal chats, my live calls, all my algorithms, and my bots, all the links are down below for the free 7-day trial to the bundle, which gives you access to absolutely everything. And then you can see what we got going on over here. All right. See you guys in the next video.
Don't need me no friends. Bag on my head and they wanted me dead, but you still see me with the roof of the Benz. My bitch is bad and bougie. Ain't but a back, she don't matter to me. Super big guns like it's Call of Duty. Say this your man's, but he ratatouille.